Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. Obviously, local kid, and I want to start there. You were from Columbia, went to Dutch Fork High School, and we were just talking off air about when you got to Carolina and Chad Holbrook being there. But just talk about the recruiting process for you. Obviously, I know you were one of the top guys in the state when you came out. So what it came down to, why you chose the Gamecocks, and just what the recruiting process was like overall.
Yeah, so my senior year, I didn't really – well, actually, my junior year, I hit and pitched in high school. So I went to Diamond Prospect events trying to get recruited, whatever. And I started doing well, started hitting upper 80s, getting looked at by a bunch of other colleges. And USC wasn't really showing that much interest. But I thought it was kind of funny because Monty Lee contacted me and was like, want me to come visit Clemson.
Right.
1 week, like after this, I think it was Palmetto games, Diamond Prospect Palmetto games. And I was supposed to go visit Clemson the next weekend. And then I guess somehow South Carolina found out about it. And
you're right in their backyard. I mean,
literally. So they wanted me to come visit the next day. And I walked around with Myers. He showed me everything, the campus. And it was just like it was there. Like I wanted to go there. I grew up a Gamecock baseball fan.
Right.
It was just like my dream school. I just was waiting on them to show a little bit of effort.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, growing up locally, I feel like the ties had to be there as far as like being a Gamecock fan. Like I said, if nothing else, a Carolina baseball fan. Like, I mean, because you were literally growing up watching Christian Walker and Jackie Bradley, Michael, like just those College World Series teams. So like, I'm sure it was like as soon as you get the offer, I would assume it felt like a no-brainer. I mean,
yeah, it really was, honestly. But me and my dad would always go to the games. We would always go. I'd probably go. I don't know. I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old. I was a little kid, like dreaming of going to this school. And then once I had the opportunity presented to me, I was like, I couldn't turn it down, like no matter what. So it was
who were some of the, you said Clemson. I mean, did you get a lot of SEC interest, like ACC interest? Like what was because people like, it's crazy, man. Like you think of recruiting in baseball, it starts so early. I mean, you're literally, they're offering kids that are freshmen in high school and, projecting guys like that. So, I assume you had a laundry list of offers for your services, obviously, because, you had a good career. So
honestly, I didn't.
Really?
No. So I only had 3 offers at the time. One was from SMC, one was from Francis Marion, and then South Carolina was literally my 3rd offer. So I didn't really do well until my junior year. So I was kind of a late bloomer, as what you say. And literally nothing really happened until South Carolina showed some interest. And then, Clemson first and then South Carolina.
Right.
So it was literally just between those two right off the bat. And I was like, all right, well, I definitely want to stay home, be near my parents, want them to come see me and see all my friends. So I wanted to stay in state. So
did you want to be a two-way in college, or were you set on like, I'm going to be a pitcher? Like, it's like, I know like I was a pitcher as well, and pitchers love to tout how great of hitters they were in high school and all that. And it's like, hey coach, let me get some BP. But did you want to go two-way? Did you know you were set to pitch? Like what was the
I actually did want to go two-way. I was kind of supposed to, but then I came in with like a kind of
they always tell you that.
Yeah. I came in with like a minor back injury.
Right.
So I kind of came in at the bottom of the totem pole, which didn't really help my case, but couldn't help it. I was hurt. So I was supposed to two-way, play a little bit of outfield. Honestly, there was just too many veteran guys like for me to even sniff the field. So I kind of just fell right into a PO spot immediately. And that's just kind of how it worked out. Right. So, I was a better hitter in high school than I was pitcher.
Really?
And it was actually crazy. So, and then I had a back brace.
Right. And you mentioned the injury because I was, like I said, we were talking off air and taking a look. I didn't even realize that you got to Carolina fall of 16 and you redshirted 17. So obviously I would assume the injury played a major part in you getting the red shirt or whatever. But I think it's good you come in, you sit back and kind of watch and learn and observe. But what a year it was that you got to sit back and watch and learn. But before we get into that, just talk about, again, you came in under Chad Holbrook. Obviously what he did, he was on the staff when South Carolina won the back-to-back titles. And his reputation speaks for itself, obviously doing great things now at College of Charleston. But just talk about, you talked about Jerry Myers, you talked about, different guys on that staff, but the relationship with Chad Holbrook, what was that like?
Yeah, it was good. I think he was a great coach. I never really got to experience how great he was because I redshirted after the fall. Gotcha. So I never really got to go through a season with him. And once you get redshirted, it was some weird rule, SEC rule, where it was like I couldn't do anything like with the team. So I couldn't go to like team practice. I would be in the weight room while they would be on the field. And it was like me and a couple other guys. We would just train, work out basically 5 days a week, just trying to get big, strong, better, honestly, because we're kind of behind. I never really got to experience the full Holbrook coaching methods.
No, for sure.
I wish I kind of could have, but I would hear a bunch of guys talk about it. I mean, it was good.
Right. So were you able to go to games like that 17 season or no?
Yeah. So it was actually me and Jake Wright. We would sneak in through the weight room and then sit right behind home plate. We talked to Pete Stokes, who sat behind the plate. He would
sneak into the stadium that you're a player at. That seems kind of crazy.
Yeah. We definitely didn't have to buy tickets.
Right. No, for sure. I'm glad. So talk about that 17 season. I mean, again, I've had guys that were on that team that played, and obviously, I mean, the 17 season, I feel like was very similar to like the 19 season you were a part of, where injuries just derailed it early, and it felt like every weekend it's coming down to Sunday and you're losing in some heartbreaking fashion. I mean, it obviously takes a toll on you. But first, we'll talk 17, and again, you were watching from the sidelines, but I mean, just did you even ever envision like that would be your first year as a Carolina baseball player of like that? I mean, it was a rough year. There's no other way to put it. Like, it was a very, very rough season. Just talk about experiencing that from the sidelines, I guess.
No, yeah. I say, honestly, it was a really big year for me personally. I know the team might have not done as well, but just watching like how people do their business, like you see guys like Will Crow, Clark Schmidt, Tyler Johnson.
Great talent on that team. There's no question. There was
honestly one of
the
tons
of talent on that team. Yeah.
One of the best teams I've ever been a part of. I mean, obviously Schmidt had Tommy John, but just watching those guys go about their business, doing their work every day, it was really a learning experience for me. And I took in as much as I could and just kind of applied that to my routine. Like I always like just kind of learned from everyone else. And just watching them, it was just a really big year for me. Like that whole redshirt year was just huge.
Yeah, probably like self-development, right? As far as like mentally, physically, everything. It's crazy you talk about that 17 team too. I mean, you look at that team, two of those guys have been in the big leagues, and the other one is Adam Hill, which is obviously with you and your organization with the Brewers. And he's still with Milwaukee, right? Is he still?
He's actually, I think he's with the Mariners.
Oh, Mariners. That is right. He was with Milwaukee. But either way, all three of that starting rotation are professional players. I mean, and two of them are in the big leagues.